Of the injectable skills checkoff, I would begin at the Pyxis with a MAR. This MAR is for the patient Manny Stickins, date of birth 12/15XX. Patient has come in diagnosed with AFib as well as diabetes mellitus, and I'm noting an allergy to penicillin. So today this MAR has been verified, and today we are administering 0.8 milliliters intramuscularly of demo dose at 0900, as well as 7 units of insulin R and 14 units of insulin N subcutaneously, both as well as for the 0900 checkoff. And then as a one-time dose, we are administering 0.1 milliliters of apologies, that's my cat in the background. Practitube PPD. Like I said, that is 0.1 milliliters, and that Practitube is 5 TUs per 0.1 ml, and then that's going to be injected at 0900. I'm going to go ahead and notate that now. 0900. So let's go ahead and start pulling those medications. First thing is we have our demo dose. So the demo dose is in a 2 milliliter ampule, and this is unexpired. This expires February of 2029, so that's good to go. It's enough for a 0.8 mil injection. We're also going to pull our insulins. So we have insulin R. This expires in February of 2029, and it's 100 units per milliliter, so that's okay. And we have our insulin N, 0 to 2029 is the expiration on this, and this is also 100 units per milliliter. So that is good. And then we finally have our Practitube, and this is the Practitube PPD, 5 TUs per 0.1 ml, and this expires February of 2029, so this is good to go as well. So now that we've pulled our medications and verified them against the MAR, we're going to move on to the nurse's station and begin drawing up the medications. So we're going to need a needle for the tuberculin injection. We're going to need an insulin needle. We're going to need a syringe, a filtered straw, and then we have a 22 gauge 1.5 inch needle to go with the filtered straw and syringe for the intramuscular injection. We're also going to need a few alcohol swabs. So, to begin, let's go ahead and do the ampule. So, notating here, this is my sharps container, this is my trash. I'm going to go ahead and hand hygiene. And we're going to begin by verifying the ampule against the MAR. So, first things first, this is 2 milliliters, unexpired. This is enough. Let's go ahead and verify the insulin. So insulin N, unexpired, 100 units per mil, that's all right. And then we have our insulin R, February 2029 expiration, so it's unexpired, 100 units per milliliter. So this is good. And then we have our Practitube PPD diluted, 5 TUs per 0.1 ml, expires February 2029, so that's good as well. So medications have been verified for a second time. And then, so beginning with the ampule, what we're going to do is tear the top off of the swab, dispose of this in the trash. We're going to flick and make sure that all of the ampule medication is at the bottom. We're going to place this over the top, and we're going to break away from us. We're going to put this in sharps. And have the MAR off to the side, now that that's been verified. And then I'm going to open up all of the supplies that I'll need, that way I'm ready. So here's the filter straw, the syringe, and then the needle. So what I'm going to do is remove the syringe and attach it to the filter straw. And then what we're gonna do with that, by carefully not touching the sides, carefully not touching, just making sure you can see me, not touching the sides. We're gonna go in and we're gonna drop the 0.8, and I'm gonna go a bit past to account for the air bubble that's gonna form. Perfect. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to detach the filter straw, waste that, and then we're going to attach the needle, and we're going to waste this to the 0.8 mark. Perfect. And then we're going to place this back inside just for safekeeping, leaving this out to draw up our triangle method sticker. And for this, we're going to write this demo dose 0.8 ml intramuscular, and this expires 02/2029. I'm gonna hand hygiene, just touched my nose. All right. And then we're gonna fixate this triangle method to the I'm gonna notate this as 0900. And without obscuring that, we're going to wrap the flag around and show here. So that's ready to go. And we can go ahead and dispose of this into sharps. And then next up, we are going to pull our insulin N and insulin R. I'm gonna roll these. Now that those are thoroughly rolled, be a little bit more careful with them. I'm going to take an alcohol swab, tear it, and wipe the top of each of these for 30 seconds. So this is just for demonstration purposes. I would do this for 30 seconds normally. Okay. And then for this, we're going to use the insulin needle. So verifying again on the MAR, we're pulling up 21 units. So we're going to draw up the 21 units of air. And then we're going to go cloudy first. We're going to inject the 14 units of air, giving us 7 left. And then we have our 7 units of air into the regular. We're going to flip this and we're going to draw up our 7 units of regular insulin. And then we're going to draw up our 14 units of NPH. Seems to be a little bit stuck. Just gonna rock it back and forth. And it's pulling now. We're gonna take this to 21. And then carefully, we're going to relid this. And then we're gonna draw up our tags or our label for this. We're giving and then without obscuring, I'm gonna fix this. And it wrapped around just a little bit, but we have it, and it's just the measurement, 100 units per milliliter. Oh. So now that that's prepped, these can go back to the Pyxis. And then we're gonna draw up our Practi tube. So for that, it's gonna be a similar style. So we're gonna take our alcohol prep swab the top, 30 seconds. Place this. We're gonna draw up the 0.1 ml of air. We're going to inject this, inject the air, and draw up the 0.1 ml. Okay, now that I've drawn that up, I'm gonna put a lid on this carefully. Affix the lid and then waste over the top of the trash. And in looking at this, it doesn't look like this drew up enough medication, so I have an extra needle here and I'm just going to redraw the medication. And this is a fresh, brand new needle that I'm using. We're going to draw up the 0.1 milliliters, which looks just so much better this time. We're going to place a lid on this again. We're going to waste over the trash. Now we're going to leave this out so we can draw our triangle flag. PPD 5 TU per 0.1 ml. O2. And then here's the label and the medication. So now that all three are prepped and ready, we're going to take them into the patient's room, which is just over here. Here's our waste, sharps containers off to the side here. Give me just a moment. Apologies for that. So we have our patient here. I've got my MAR, and I'm gonna verify. Hi, how are you doing today? My name is Zach. I'm a student nurse. I'm going to be assisting with your injectable medications today. Can I have you verify your name for me? Okay, thank you, Manny. And can I have your date of birth, please? 1215XX, that's perfect. And then mentally, I'm confirming the MRN number. And then Manny, do you have any allergies? Okay, perfect. Penicillin, I do see that on the record. I did just want to confirm that, and I'm confirming that there's no penicillin being administered today. So I'm gonna hand hygiene. Apologies for my cats. I'm gonna put on my gloves. Now that this is out of the way. And so for our first injection, we're gonna go with the intramuscular. So I'm gonna choose the right ventrogluteal. So before beginning, I'm going to take an alcohol swab that I brought with me. I'm gonna wipe this down a few seconds, make sure it's clean. For the ventrogluteal, my hands would be in this position. I'm going to be pulling the skin taut, and we're going to inject at a 90-degree angle. And for this, we're just going to come through. Oh, before injecting, I'm going to verify one more time against the MAR. Demo dose 0.8 milliliters intramuscularly. This has not expired. Perfect. And then while we're here, let's go ahead and confirm these. We have our insulin R, 7 units, February of 2029, 100 units per ml, and then insulin N, 14 units, February of 2029, 100 units per ml. And then finally, we have our Practitube, PPD, 5 TUs per 0.1 ml. We're administering 0.1 ml intradermally, and this is not expired. So the medications have been verified for a third time. So back to the ventrogluteal. My hand would be in this position. We would be pulling the skin taut. I'm going to remove. We're going to inject at a 90-degree angle. Before administering, I'm going to aspirate by pulling up. I can't pull, or nothing draws up when I pull, so I'm good to inject. I'm going to withdraw the needle, and I'm going to let go. I'm going to have the patient or myself apply pressure but not rub, and I'm not going to relid that. This is just going to go into sharps. Next up, we're going to administer the insulin, both the R and the N, in the combined syringe. We're going to administer that in the right lower abdomen. So here we're going to see if we can pinch an inch, and it looks like we can. So we're going to inject at a 90-degree angle. And so we're going to make sure we're at least 2 inches away from the umbilicus. We're going to remove the lid. We're going to give ourselves a little pinch. Gonna inject and administer. I'm gonna remove, let go, and again, pressure, but do not rub. This is also going to go into sharps. And then finally, we're gonna inject the pract tube. So this is gonna be in the ventral portion of the right forearm. So for this, we're going to, the key here is looking for the bleb after injection. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the lid. We're gonna pull the skin tight, and we're gonna make sure that the bevel is up. And we're gonna inject in just under the skin. And we're gonna inject, and what we're looking for is a little bump or bleb, and I'm verbalizing I'm seeing that. Withdraw the nail, let go, and then this goes into sharps. And for the third time, pressure, but do not rub. So now that that's done, I'm going to clean up my area, make sure that, and while doing so, I'm verifying that the patient is at the lowest height, patient has access to their call light, that they have 2 side rails up. I'm gonna confirm that, or I'm gonna make sure there's no tripping hazards. I'm gonna make sure, all right, Mr. Stickins, is there anything else that I can help you out with? No, great, thank you so much. And then before I'm done, I'm just gonna go through, I'm gonna line out the times that I administered each of these medications. I'm gonna initial. And I'm gonna document each of the sites. So the demo dose was administered into the right ventrogluteal. Both insulins were administered into the right lower abdomen. And then the practitube was administered into the right arm.